Eric, do you have any plans for Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, we do this thing called Second Halloween on November 1st. And so I'm going to take my kids out and trick-or-treat creepily around the...
It's All Saints Day, so we actually just dress up like Drew Brees and go around dinking and dunking it down the sidewalk. In all seriousness, though, Thursday night has been a rough one. It was last week, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better this week. However, we are here to help. Thanks to MyBookie.ag, you can make any game or any event exciting, and we're going to give you a couple of tidbits that might, lead you in a certain direction one way or another. We've got 3 picks, but we'll start with Thursday night, and that, of course, is the Oakland Raiders visiting the San Francisco 49ers. So you must pick a favorite in this game. Vegas has done so, and they have the Niners favored by 3 points. Both teams suck. That seems a little high.
Yeah, so the 49ers couldn't hold a 2-score lead on the road last week against the Arizona Cardinals and Josh Rosen. I think the Raiders offense, weirdly, in a shootout last week, I think is more potent than that Cardinals offense. The Niners have struggled in all but 2 games with C.J. Beathard, so I think the Raiders are going to put up at least enough points to stay along with this number here. Yeah,
I'm not the biggest Derek Carr fan, but Derek Carr versus C.J. Beathard, I mean, come on, guys. I think everyone has these rose-colored glasses on for Mr. Beat Hard because of what he did in Green Bay, and I think it's time to take those off. So as much as the Raiders are not great, they won't get a lot of pressure on anybody. Yeah. They're not going to go, to the playoffs this year. But being an underdog, they're not traveling very far. The Battle of the Bay, they've got some pride.
Yeah, Carr almost 3 times as many big-time throws per attempt as C.J. Beathard, and a passer rating of 110 when clean. So he hasn't been terrible. Honestly, the offense, I think, run through John Gruden has been, pretty efficient. It's just been the sort of end game situations and their defense that has struggled. I don't think their defense is going to struggle nearly as much this week against C.J. Beathard as they did against Andrew Luck last week.
Getting rid of Amari Cooper and all of his drops really helping out. So be amazing once they get real football players in there, what they can do. All right, next up, we're going to move to Baltimore. The Ravens hosting the Steelers. They are 3-point favorites. Yep. We like, again, one of these short underdogs here. We like the Steelers to cover that. And I think for me, it all comes down to, look, this season is about offense. Yep. And the Flacco-led Ravens are better than they were last year, but they are not great. And if I have the opportunity to take the better quarterback with the better weapons, getting points, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, Big Ben has actually had his worst grade overall for a season since 2006, but Randy Fitchner's offense has not really skipped a beat, right? Even without Le'Veon Bell, they still are putting up a lot of points. They're still, covering the number like they did last week against Cleveland. So if we see any sort of regression for Big Ben back to his norm, I think they're just going to outrun the Ravens here. Even with a good defense, we saw the limitations of such a good defense last week in Carolina and then the week before again against New Orleans at home here. So even though the Ravens got the better of the Steelers in Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh's far improved here, and I think they should be able to cover this number and probably even win.
It's a revenge game, right?
There's that angle.
So before we get on to our last pick of the week, I want to remind you, look, even if football isn't on, or on Thursday maybe the football game isn't your cup of tea. A lot of other sports out there, and MyBookie.ag has you covered regardless of what you're into. You want to head to MyBookie.ag, you can place a season-long bet, you can place a game-long bet, and a player-wide bet. They've got it all for you. So head to MyBookie.ag, use promo code PFF to get a $1 match on your first deposit. They also have in-game live betting, so if things change, you can make it happen, right? You did that last night. Very successful. Anyways, MyBookie.ag plus PFF. It's pretty simple. You play, you win, you get paid. All right, last one here. Our beloved Atlanta Falcons. They are traveling to the nation's capital to face the Washington Redskins. They are underdogs. We've had a lot of trouble, shall we say, taking the Falcons as favorites. But now that they're getting some points, things look a little better.
Yeah, Matt Ryan has been terrific this year. Even though they have not, won, the majority of their games, he's been fantastic. A 123.1 passer rating when clean. On the other side of the aisle, Alex Smith has been Alex Smith, right? So he's limiting turnover-worthy plays. Only 2.18% of his dropbacks have been turnover-worthy, but the exact same number have been big-time throws. So they're simply not generating that kind of offensive explosion that they need. Last week against the Giants, they scored just enough to pull out that win. I don't think that pace is going to be able to keep up with the Falcons defense notwithstanding.
Here's the bottom line. The Falcons have to win every single game. They are a vastly superior offense. They're just loaded on offense, and they've been doing really well. So I think Alex Smith can beat those teams that are run by the Eli Mannings, who can't put up a lot of points. And then when it comes to playing the Falcons, look, ground and pound with Adrian Peterson is only going to work so long. So I think the Falcons are a nice opportunity here to take a team that's vastly superior, getting points as we've done with the past 2 picks.
Yep. Yeah, I think the Washington's been a good value, but I think that the market's starting to run out here. If you would have looked at this number, I think a few weeks ago, the Falcons probably would have been favored. So you're getting a lot of value on Atlanta's side.
Yeah, fade the Spreadskins, make it happen. We'll be back later in the week with some more picks, and of course, tune into the PFF forecast for all of our dulcet tones.